Okay, I'll share my screen. I will explain the last part first and I'll try to log in later.
Sure.
Yeah, let me know once my screen is visible. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So today's topic is message mapping. Okay, like we message mapping, like we have different types of mappings. So graphical mapping, SSLT mapping, Groovy mapping, and then JavaScript mapping and all, like 4 5 types of operational mapping and all. So graphical mapping is something which we used to use in most of the interfaces, like in every
Mm,
interfaces, obviously, like in PAPO, even in CPA. But some of the consultant doesn't prefer, using graphical mapping because there is a lot of kind of algorithm and logics and something like you
mm,
write a diagram and just show that how it works that way. So it's like a graphical, like you need, if you are concatenating first name last name, you'll take the first name character, you take the last name character, and you use another box
mm,
concat, then you map it so that way. So but still, people write, someone who's from CSS software background, they will write a simple script or JavaScript or Groovy script for that, and that is easy for them. So, but someone who is from non-IT background, they will use graphical mapping. I mean, it's
mm,
completely okay as long as it serves the purpose. Sometimes with the graphical mapping, it takes more memory and performance will get affected. Sometimes using Groovy, it gives a faster results, but when it comes to IDOC structure and all, it is hard to understand from non-IT background. The purpose of CPA is to
mm,
do code no code, right? So that doesn't serve the right purpose over that. So people just switches between, like, uses however they needs, but it is up to them, like what to choose and what not to choose. That is a point. And before this, I wanted to show, but I think there's some error on the screen. Let it be. I will just explain theoretically, like first on interview part. Okay, like what to ask to get prepared, and then we will go there. So interview. Okay, if you are getting ready for SAP, like if you, and I'm sure you are still in functional. Like you are trying for everything, right? But still, if you come to this field, SAP integration consultant or CPI or APM, something like that. So majorly, like everybody obviously, like they will ask your intro and all. So
mm,
we versus like how I will introduce myself is like I have a PAPO background also. Like when I joined, I did the support role for almost 6 7 months in PIPO. Then I did some certification. Then I did upgrade, right? So I will be like, I'm Karthik. I'm like I joined. I did my so and so graduation in so and so college. After that, I joined Accenture. Okay, then in Accenture, I got this PAPO project, like where I supported for 6 months. I was in support for 6 months. Like majorly, I supported production activities. I monitored the production system and raised, incidents whenever the messages fails. Like if it's a mapping error, we used to troubleshoot like what is the error, and we used to report it to sender team that this field is mandatory, but it is missing in the payload. Please send it again, something like that. Or sometimes like weekend support and all. Like earlier when basis used to do patches and releases and all. So when that happens, we used to stop the channel, start the channel and all in PAPO. So every consultant should start a journey as a support consultant because it will help you to
mhm.
first troubleshoot the issues rather than developing. So the one who troubleshoots more has more knowledge than the one who develops. For the one who develops, he just has knowledge on that. Okay,
Yeah.
So if you are developing something on OData or SuccessFactors, you just have knowledge on OData or SuccessFactors only. The one who supports the whole integration, it's the landscape of around 600, 700 interfaces, and there might be like less errors only, maybe some 20, 30 errors only, but still you are dealing with the 20, 30 interfaces. Like you are just seeing like how the developer developed all the 20, 30 interfaces, what it is doing, what is the error, how to fix this, and you will be checking with functional consultants also what this interface does in functionally, like business, what is the business value of that. So it's like a clear picture of what an organization is trying to do, or the like integration consultant is doing, so that way. So that is basically like every consultant should start their journey as support consultant. So we can tell like that, like initial 6 months I did, even like you can just mention like CPA consultant I did in support role, if I was just monitoring the whole production interfaces and all. And I used to raise incidents or tickets to send it in like wherever it is needed. And then I did some certification, SAP global certification, CCPA 14 and CCPA 15, where it is not just in CPA certification, it's a whole package of BTP Integration Suite, CPA, PM, BTP, TI, integration advisor, advanced event mesh and all. So there are like different types of patterns in integration, event driven integrations, or file-based integrations, or REST API-based integrations, that and all. So event-driven integration is like where we'll use this advanced event mesh or AMQP adapter, like whenever there is a event like change in notification or change in agreement, or change in the price. So whenever the event happens, we will subscribe to Q1 topic, particular Q1 topic, like wherever they are publishing that event change. So we'll subscribe to that, and we will get the message in CPA that we will be sending it to the SAP, or the other way, like inbound outbound, both we will do. And file based integrations, we will pick the files from SFTP directories, and we will do some modifications, we'll send it by then and on. So those things. Okay, so quick, like it should be short and quick. Like, okay, if I say, okay, total like 5 to 6 years of experience, started my journey as a support consultant, then did my certification, then started working on CPA implementation projects. So okay, like 3 years I worked in mining domain, then retail domain, then telecom domain. So like I worked across different domain. I worked with multiple clients across Australia, Singapore, New Zealand, UK and all. So majorly I describe integration suite into three parts: connectivity, security, logic. Security is like basically authentication. So nowadays they have removed the basic authentication from most of the stuff. They are like upgrading it to the OAuth authentication, principal propagation, and certificate based authentication and all. So connectivity, when it comes that comes to security, and the connectivity is like basically like what type of adapters we are using. Like it acts as a channel between sender to CPA and CPA to receiver. So we have like SOAP adapter, REST adapter, SFTP adapter, advanced event mesh. Now recently, if you say like Gen A adapter is also there, where we don't have the real time use case yet, but still it is evolving. And we have success factor adapter, OData adapter, and Facebook, and whatever you saw on that, like Twitter and all. I might not have worked on every adapter, but like I'm excited to explore and evolve like that. If you show some interest over there, so we can tell that. And logic, when it comes to logic, I worked on so and so palette functions. We have transformers, content modifier, XML to JSON converter, splitter, multicast, router, message mapping, Groovy mapping, SLT mapping, data store operations is there. And gather is there, aggregator is there. Like when we use multicast, we will use join, gather also. When we use splitter, we just use gather. Like why they will ask questions like what is the difference between request reply and content interrupter? How do you do an external call? What is the difference between the general splitter and iterative splitter? Sequential multicast, parallel multicast. At least minimum to three questions on the palette functions for sure. And then you can say like, okay, real-time integrations, what you did. So real-time integrations, you can say like I have develop so and so interfaces which integrates with SAP HANA backend. SAP HANA backend. So it's a kind of inbound interface with third-party system will be sending message to CPI, CPI will be sending message to the backend. So on so authentication I have used and send this data. I use the message mapping. It's a simple one-to-one mapping or something like that. Groovy, we are using simple Groovy like to just to log the payloads and like how do you fetch the payload. So those kind of question, those kind of things you can include. Okay, like say like what is the total number of years of experience you have. Okay, and how you begin your journey and okay, then what are the like clients which you have worked on? Tell like as you know, include as much as domains you want. So they might ask like, what is the difference? You worked in three different domains. What is the difference? They might ask like you can tell like okay, it is just the data variance for us. Like for technical consultants, it doesn't make much difference, but still.
Mhm.
Uh, you are the one who needs to understand both the functional value of also like what without understanding like what it is doing we can't just develop it all, right? So when it comes to retail, it's basically purely supply chain management and like full procure to payment cycle, mainly focused on purchase orders, invoices, FASM interfaces, accounts payable, accounts receivable. So we'll be majorly working with FI team and supply chain, MM team and Reba team, something like that. Telecom domain is also something like that. They will also majorly work on FISM and HR interfaces, success factor, and also they will also work on that. And when it comes to mining, you will be marketing team like production planning, sales order. So where you will be extracting different materials, right? Like nickel or there will be many materials and many interfaces for each mineral which you are extracting. There will be like different interfaces: nickel waste, nickel ore, iron, gold. Uh, so, but we have to be very strong with the basics. Like if you know like what CPA is doing to integrate between SAP system and non-SAP systems, or SAP system to SAP system, or SAP system to third party system. What is A2A scenario? What is B2B scenario? Then it will be easy, in getting the requirement done. So that way, okay. Uh, so and what you have done to improve the landscape, like automation, what you have done, like you can say like support consultants used to monitor every messages monitor messages every 1 hour or so, but then I have automated using alerting mechanism. So whenever the like interface errors out, we will be sending to some data store, and then there will be some generic interface where it will fetch all the errors from the data store and it will send to the teams as an alert. So how we did that, you can like refer some blogs like how we can do alerting mechanism, how we can send alerts to the MS Teams via CPA. And all, we just see like 1 hour to like there are so many videos across and blogs across Chrome or YouTube. You can see so many videos. Okay, like one real time
Mm.
integration. You don't need to do it. Okay, you just need to understand exactly like what it is doing. You just need to tell it so confidently that I did it. Okay,
Okay.
you'll be able to like you only think if I tell like this, what cross question they can ask. Say if you say that I did the alerting mechanism, you will next question is like, can you extract, tell me like how you integrated now, like what is the sender system, what is the receiver system, and
Mm.
so you have to tell like okay, in every interface, whichever whatever is there, the critical interfaces, we have added an exception sub process. So whenever there is error in the interfaces, it will come to exception sub process, and we have used the data store write operations over there. So the error info will be returned to the data store. So
Mm.
how we will catch the error info? We have a command expression $exception dot uh, dollar exception dot message or dollar exception dot stack points. It's a camel expression which we can use to capture the error info. That info will be mapping and writing it to the data store, and we'll use one generic interfaces where like all the error info of other interfaces can be fetched. Maybe like say every 1 hour, whatever the interfaces got failed, that we will be capturing in one interfaces, and we will be sending it as an alert. How we will send as an alert? There are so many APIs where we can send alerts to the MS Teams or Outlook. There is MS Graph API, Microsoft Graph API, which and Azure, we can make use of workflows also with the workflow team and all. So they will be helping with the authentication and URL part. We'll just configure it in CPI and we'll do a connection test, and then we'll be sending it. So every 1 hour we'll schedule the timer. So whatever the error or the error messages are there in the production landscape for the last 1 hour, it will be sent as an alert, so that support consultants doesn't need to monitor by logging into the system. Like whenever there is an error, it will alert in Teams, so they can go and check and troubleshoot and take the required action, whatever is needed. So that was automation which I did. It reduced 50% manual effort of support consultants, and it increased the and not only just alerting mechanism, like you can tell like if some nice certificate is getting expired, that also you can create an alert and say that okay, that it prevented an errors, it prevented so and so. When you prevent an error, it indirectly prevents an loss of the company, right? So if some critical interfaces got failed and some invoice didn't go or something didn't go, it is a loss for a company, right? So like they're facing their it causes business disruption. Disruption as in like it all halted their messages flowing or invoice flowing, and people will, if you think real time, if someone lose trust, they can't get it back, right? So if they mess up one interface once, then they won't believe it again. It will go to the project will go to another company. So that way, so you can tell this way that so and so money got saved, so on so manual work got automated. It helped the company, something like that. If you give a short 5 minutes into that, should be enough. Okay. And so the project explanation, they might ask like what was the major problem you received, like what is the duration of the project. You are asking, right, like migration project or upgrade project, what is the time somebody asked you in the interview, like what is the time for you to take the upgrade and all. So if it is migration project, like ERP days for an to cloud content, it will take like lengthy time, 3 to 6 months and all, or 1 year maybe. So or if it is just a small upgrade, then it might take like 1 month or so to move from dev to QA to prod everything. Okay. And what is the problem and what you did, what needs to be done, how you overcome the problem. Okay, like what you implemented, real-time implementation, what is the CPI adapters which you used, what is the palette function which you used, what is the API which you used. So that way. And result, like what is the outcome of, like why did you develop that interface, what is the functional or business value of it. So you are developing an interface for sending a purchase order, you have to tell them, right, like so this automates the like earlier we used to send emails and we have to wait for vendor confirmation, that and all. So now it is like B2B EDA does it so simplified way, we are sending the purchase order. So everything is documented and every info is documented and nobody can crack it. It will be like, if they want, we can encrypt and send. So that way you just need to hype. Okay. So you need to prepare in this way. Like when you start preparing, you have to, like whenever you are working on some parrot function, you need to do ChatGPT or Copilot, whatever. What is the real time exam scenario for this? Where we are using this, or one whole interface. What is the functional value of it? What is the real time use of it? What are the interview questions which I can get if I put this interface in my resume? So that way you have to think, not only for technical consultants, like even for functional consultants, whatever is there in your resume or whatever real time project which you say, that only they will ask. Even if you're an consultant, they will ask like what and all day-to-day activities you perform as an consultant. So day to day, what you will do? What are the terms used day to day? Procurement to pay cycle. What and all you do? Like what are the steps covered there? Like you have to say that vendor identification, then we will issue purchase requisition, purchase order, then goods receipt, invoice verification, then there is the integration between FI and team. FI has to FI team has to do that 3PL matching and all, then only they have to um, send that invoice and all. Like if everything is okay, then only they can send us something like that. And what is the T code to create a material? What is the T code to create a purchase order? So MM01 is T code to produce a material, and then everything you have to by heart and do rehearsal at least before an interview. Okay, like even if you're stronger theoretically, at least they will think that okay, this guy knows something. Or they might ask like, okay, real time application, they will ask, okay, I have a requirement. There is an interface, every time when the SAP team runs job, so CPI team has to store, integration team has to store that last date in your interface. So next time when you runs, when a SAP term runs, so it has to fetch the info from the next date, not the previous date. How we will do? So that we have seen in data store. So we will define one property. Okay. In the content modifier, and we will like last date. Okay, we will write it to the data store. Um, and next time it sets the like then we will we'll write it as a global variable, and then we will assign the global variable to turn some property, say like nw last process date. So that value will have the today's date. So next time when they run, it will take from the today's date only. Like it will fetch the value from the global variable. The date in the global variable is October 20. So next time when they run, it will start with okay, October 20. This is the last processed order ID. From this data only you take. So that way, okay, what is the solution as an integration consultant you are providing? Yeah, we can do that. We can make use of data store write operation. We have like global variable, local variable. If you want to store it, if you want visibility as global, or if there is a need to fetch that variable from some other interface, then we'll use global variable. We will do so and so activity, so that can help your requirement to achieve, that can help you to achieve your requirement, something like that. So then they will be like, they will see like what is the solution which you are, what is the path which you are taking to approach the solution, right? So if it is somewhere nearby, at least 50% is nearby, okay. As if you're putting 4-5 years experience, and if you're 50% is nearby, it is good for them. Right. So that's about it. And frequently as CPI interview topics, you can say that Groovy, they will check that what is the rating which you give to see. Nobody asks you to rate Groovy, but there are like existing interfaces where from prepackaged content and all, where they have used the Groovy. At least we should be able to understand like what they have written. Like major things, at least get properties, set properties, or like or what is the date format and all, which the set and all, how to read data property, all is that things. And error handling. Error handling is the most important topic, as most of the developers fail to handle errors. They feel develop an interface, okay, and it will meet the requirement, but what if when it fails? What if sender team sends the wrong data? What if receiver system is not available? How we are capturing it in CPI? Say receiver system is not available, sender system is sending 1 lakh requests, and it all got added in CPA, and it is blocking the CPA performance and all. So that shouldn't happen. You should send immediate response to center that hey, stop, the receiver system is not available. How will the API you can use that? You can do the rate limiting, or you can do alerting mechanism, something like that. Request response or something like that, and monitoring how to retrieve feed messages. Uh, Alerting, like we have the MPL data API to make use of alerting mechanism also. And there will be like different standard APIs also. You can just check that what are the standard APIs when it comes to monitoring, what are the standard APIs when it comes to what are the standard APIs when it comes to HR background, success factor, employer application and all that things. And okay, so TPM EDA advanced event mesh APAM. I mean, APM is okay. TPM and advanced event mesh, you can concentrate less, but you just have the basic knowledge because it's still new in the market and not everybody will get a chance to work on it. So you can tell that I have a theoretical knowledge on it and did some activities in my trial account and all. Like what activities you have done, like whatever you want to say, you have to be very thorough with that. Okay, CPA, PM, you tell that, okay, I have a real time hands-on experience because that is old already, like 2, 3, like almost, it is there from like 2015 or something. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
Performance also, like how to optimize it. Everybody can develop, like who is the good developer who can think like, in future, like they have to be they will consider minute to minute details also, like performance wise, error handling wise, and what if they will think like, okay, today I will develop like this, functional value is this and this, tomorrow some business user came and he will think that, okay, I need one more field to it, and like you have to add it in the mapping or something like that, then what, how we can do that. So thinking that also in mind, that okay, tomorrow if he comes to ask, asking for this change, it should be an easy change for them. It shouldn't be like greater enhancement and all. Enhancement should be minimal effort. Okay, it shouldn't be like a major, I need to, it's a big interface and all, and if I do this change, then it might affect the backend code also. That shouldn't be the case. You should think in that way. It should be a simple enhancement for them, so be futuristic that way. So I mean, it doesn't come in a single day. Obviously, when they work for, when they do mistakes, then only they will get to know, like, if they do like 5 years experience I have, I know like what are the mistakes which I have done it previously. I will get that knowledge కదా, అంటే ఇది చే లైక్ ఇది చేస్తే బెటర్గా ఉంటుంది, దట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ విచ్ ఐ డెవలప్ ఓన్లీ ఐ విల్ రీథింక్ how I can improve that, how, what is the other ways of developing it, and how I can improve its performance better, right? I will copy the type flow and I will try to, if there is an HTTP API, which is the OData API, which I will think that what if I use HTTP adapter also? Will it still work? What are the differences? What is the time consumed to get the response for this message? What is the time consumed for to get the response for this message? Like what is the format here? What is the format over there? Am I doing some extra steps in HTTP? Am I doing extra steps in OData API? Everything I have to compare and then I have to give the ideal solution. So that comes to the experience, obviously, but yeah, you have to talk like that, like a pro consultant. At least, at least you have to make them believe, okay, this guy knows something like that. Okay, even if you have not done that. Yeah. So then I think, see, 1 hour interview, more of, it's more of a how you play with them, not what are the questions they ask to you. Like if you say something, the next question, like what they will ask, right? If I say something, I worked on data store and all, next question is like what are the different type of operations they will do. So you have to think that way. Like introduction only you can set the path. I worked on so and so implementation migration project, then they will ask a migration implementation project only. What and all they did in migration. So make it something like, okay, 20 minutes this will only consume. Then when you do rehearse, like you will 2, 3 interviews you take and 2, 3 rehearsals you do. See the time consumed for to answer for this message, how much time I am consuming this. So what are the repeated questions what they are asking. uh, Not everyone will crack within the first chance only, right? Like they will analyze like where I gone wrong, how I can improve, what are the concepts which I am weak, concentrate more on that. Wherever I was strong, we just still improvise that. Like, I have too much deep expertise in message mapping or Groovy mapping. I know I did migration projects so very well. Like, I do impact assessment and all. Like, I as a support consultant is an a pro level. Like, I just capture there, I just troubleshoot there within seconds. That way, if you highlight your, plus points, then they will start asking questions on that. Then you can crack. Like, you just need to analyze yourself. So that thing, and how did you handle a critical production issue? How do you ensure error notifications are automated? How do you plan for migrations from PO to CPA? Most of the companies are migrating from PO to CPA. So they might ask questions on this. So you can tell that I don't have real time experience with PO, but it's similar like CPA. So I'm still helping. Migrating the interfaces from PO to CPA, but CPA is as CPA is advanced, and like I'm already exploring other models of CPA, advanced event mesh, EDA, and all. So which I might be the bridging gap between PO to CPA. So most of the PO consultants doesn't know what and all features are available in CPA. So I can help them. Like, say if it is an something like event changing and all, I can go and tell them, okay, use advanced event mesh. Why are you still doing the complex step in CPA itself, right? We have the new features and all. So that solution, like that, I can give different solutions for them as an kind of perform and lead role. So this way will gain their confidence. Okay, this guy can act as a lead for this. Like, he knows someone from some lead from POs and some lead from CPA. If they think and analyze and put the right path, then the junior consultants can make it done. Get it done. This, like, if you're putting like 5+ years of experience, you need to tell them not just technical consultant. You need to understand. Okay, I have a bit of functional knowledge also. I know like what FICO consultant will do, what SD consultant will do, what HR consultant will do. That one liners I gave in one of the session, like what like keywords. Sales to order, it's an order. Like SD consultant is an order to cash. HR consultant, it is like hire to rehire. Then functional consultant is it is procure to pay. Integration consultant, it is integrate between SAP and non-SAP systems, and it's like a middleware. And ABAP consultants and Fiori consultants, they're like pro developers. Basis is admin. Security is purely like connectivity stuff and all authentication. If you tell like I want to become an architect, like what is the business role which they do, like how they integrate between each modules and all, that you can add it in intro. And yeah, that's about interview stuff. I'll just quickly check. Message mapping is opening and it's giving it a stop sharing screen. Not sure why it is.
Maybe it will take time.
Shit, man. And next right provider connection time. What? Sort of explaining things. And I'll just explain theoretically, and maybe just there are like several blocks for this. Just try to open one of them. Maybe it's okay. So visible right my screen? Sharing my screen, right?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So we have something like when you add the message mapping, we'll get this structure. Okay, you might have seen in my earlier classes also, we have something called a source structure, we have target structure also. Okay, so it will be an XML to XML structure only. Like we can't like we will always convert, CPI always understands it in XML, right? Even if they're sending data in JSON, we will convert it using JSON to XML converter, and then we will add it. Okay, so imagine we have source structure like this. Okay, XML like this, and like we have customer order details here, like customer ID, first name, last name, birthday. Okay, and their status. Okay, they're putting it in code over here, and what is the order ID, amount, like what and all order this customer did. And similarly, there is another customer with some other order IDs and some other customer order. But in the response in SAP backend, they want it in a summary. Okay, like for customer, yeah, what is the total sales, what is the order count, and what is the status. Okay, what is the full name of the customer name. So how we will do? Okay, we will see. For there is first name and last name, and they're expecting full name, Alex, full name and all. So what we will do, we'll take that first name, last name. Okay, and then there is something called as concat function over there in so if you see, we have these many mapping expression. Okay, arithmetic, boolean, constant, conversion, date, node function, statistic, text, and all. So in text we have like, okay, if you see arithmetic, we have like add, subtract, equals, absolute, square root, square, sign, negative, like all the arithmetic expressions. Okay, if you want some here, if you see what we are doing, we are adding all the order amount of all of the customer A, like 100, 500, 1000, 2000, 3000, 3500, 3600. We are putting it. How we are doing? How we will do that? We will make use of sum. This arithmetic add operation. So we will be like using the sum function, and at the source side there will be like this. Source side will be having this amount, and we'll add all this amount, and we will map it to this total sales. That's how. And we will here, there is how we will get dollars in. We'll make it as like format number option is also there. So in this format number, format number here in the arithmetic function only, we have like format number. You just need to search it, it will come. So we'll just add like, make the number as dollar 1 rupee, something like that, then it will come like that. Okay, then we have boolean. Boolean is like whether yes or no, only it will return. So for example, we have status is L here, but in backend they are expecting the full form. Okay, so if it is L, then the status is loyal. If it is I, the status is inactive. If the status is N, then the status is new. So how they will do? So we will get this status, and we will be using one constant. Okay, that is whether it is L or whether it is equal I or N or something like that. That is a constant. And if it is equal to L, so we have something called as equal here. Okay, and we have like multiple. We can check the boolean values. We can check the string value. If it is equal to if the status is equal to L, okay, then we have something called as ifs and if without else. Same like Java will use, right? Like if it is this condition, then go inside the bracket and do some logic conversion, and then return the result. Or else you go to the else loop and do the condition. Similarly, we have this ifs and if without else, and ifs and like with else and without else, that conditions and also. So what we'll do, we'll check the status. If it is equal to L, then map it L as a loyalty. If it is not equal to L, then come to the next condition, whether check whether it is I or N. If it is I, mark it as an inactive. Okay, then come. If it is in, mark it as a new. If it is none of this, then end the process, or just don't map anything. Default. So that way, to check whether it is equal or not, then we'll make it use of Boolean expression. Constant is like we'll assign that status, right? Whether is it equal to L or higher, and that is a constant. They will use it. And copy value, if you want to repeatedly copy the values to other numbers and fields and all, then we'll use of constant. And conversion, we have something called as fixed mapping and value mapping. Okay, so something like this will only come like, okay, status here we are doing L, and they're expecting it is loyal. Okay, if it is just a 3 fields, then fine, we'll can make it achieve this using fixed values only, like fixed value mapping. But if the values are too much, then we'll do value mapping, like we'll enter all such values in one value mapping group, then we'll just call that value mapping API from our main flow. That we can do. We'll just define it as like a source, then value mapping, define the value mapping name, and then receiver will just map it to them. So basically we'll just map everything like this only, like now it will be here. So you can see, right, there is one field KSHCL, there is condition type. So we'll drag this, it will come here, and then we'll drag this, then whatever you want to do. If it is a fixed value, if it is a small value, then fixed value, or no, it is a big huge number of values, then we'll do value mapping. That way. Then date, if you want to do date comparisons and all, then we have like date trans is like you want to change the date. So the source thing we have YYYY format. Okay, it's like year, then then DD. Okay, but here in the receiver format, they're expecting it in like this format. Okay, so you have to change, like if you in the date trans, you'll have input format and output format. In the input format, it will be like this. In the output format, you have to go and change it to DD, then /MMM/YY. Then it will be turned into this structure. Okay. These are like interview questions. What functions we will use here? Concat. What we will use here? Date trans. And what we will use here? We will make as a boolean expression constant. If else, then we'll just map in. What function we will use here? Sum, subtract, multiple, division. When it's with numbers, you use the arithmetic. When it is with conditional expression, you use boolean. When it is with date trans, you will use the date functions. When it is with the conversions, we'll use fixed mapping or value mapping. Constant, we'll have constant. And statistics, some average count, index, and all. Okay, text, concat, and concat substring equals. These are like SQL expressions only. And we have something called as node functions. Okay, till here, these are all easy. Okay, like we just concatenate these two, we just change the format here, we just use the boolean functions here. We have added all these using the statistic or arithmetic expressions, and even count also. Like we have like 4 order IDs in the first customer, and we are putting in the 4 as a number, right? How we will do? We'll make use of count of function. We'll count statistic. We'll use this function count. Okay, so this is simple, but node function is something which will which most of the consultants fail to do. See, it's a you just need to understand one concept called as context and queue. Okay, so I will tell you what is queue and context. We have this XML, right? So for this, the mapping, all these will belong to order context. Okay, like both order ID and order amount. This order ID and amount will be in order context. This order ID will be in one context. This will be in one context. Okay, so this all comes under one, like one node is coming as one context. So now if you want to do sum, like you want to, in the receiver, what you have to do, you have to put all those orders in one row or one field. So if I want to add all these 4 order IDs, I have to change the context to this, to context to the orders, so that it will be all will be under one context, and when they do sum, it will consider as one context and it will add all of them. If I just say, if I consider the context as order, then the sum is just 100 rupees, so it will come as 100 rupees here and the data is wrong. Like, I mean, mapping conversion, the logic conversion is wrong. That is what they say. So what they're expecting all the order total sales amount of the customer ID A, right? And all, where is the all, like how we can fetch all the amount, like how we can group it, we can group it using order ID. You're understanding, you know?
Yeah, bro.
So see, under this only it is there, right? If you
Hmm.
add these two, then only, so the context is the orders, not the order, disorder. So we'll change the context. How we'll change the context? We have something called as remove context or collapse context. Okay. Or you can do split, like
Okay.
you have to, okay, now think about reverse. So we have one total sales ID. You need to divide it or split it by value, like each order ID. How we will do? We'll use the split by value. Okay. You want to sort something, then sort. You want to keep
Hmm.
similarly as one field, then format by example. You want to use if expression, like create if, like create if only if the value is equal to order IDA, then we'll use a creative only. So simple only, like we're just uh, changing the business language into the CPI technical language. But how we do, you need to like go through this. I think you just need to by heart at least, like what are the functions we have, like, and where it can use it. So if you do like one or two, three use cases, even will be, it's very easy, but you just need to by heart it, like what and all
Okay.
functions we have, like what where we can use what.
Hmm.
Hmm. So that thing only. That's it about. See, I think creative. It's so common sense that replace value, just replace value. It exists whether it checks is the value exists or not. I mean, the name itself says so much of meaning, but in
Hmm.
real time, how it will. You can see some blogs. Maybe I'll share until later. Uh, that will help you to go through like each scenario, how we can use in the real time and all.
Okay.
So I just divided it into standard functions and node functions. Okay, so string we have
Hmm.
this, it will combine and link fields, and then Boolean condition mapping, arithmetic calculations, date conversion, note, loop control, and static position and values. So what this remove context will do? It will merge values across all the context. It removes the context and it will put all, like it remove this context and it will put all in one context, that is orders. So that's what it will do, and it will just kind of aggregate multiple items. Collapse context is like merge within context as comma separated. Split by value, it just splits the value based on any key. Exists checks before one mapping and use one mapping, copy header values to all items. That way. Just added some real time scenarios also. You can just go through that.
Hmm.
This name. Starting the source payload and receiver payload also. I wanted to show that. I mean, it's a simple concept only, but I'm not sure why it is not opening. I was creating that from 1 hour, last 1 hour. As soon as I enter the class, it is not opening. Hmm.
Once you go out of Teams and all, then it will open, I think so. I know
last,
sometimes it happened with me.
last time also it happened. And there was some error.
Hmm.
We left the class and it started working.
See,
Oh,
it's not allowing me to learn some new things. Fate.
uh, happens like that. What to do? I just stand and I think, I mean, just focus on, I mean, I'm not sure like if you still consider integration consultant as domain, but if you're considering, then your major focus should be on adapters,
Mm-hmm.
different type of adapters and palette functions mainly. Like what are the palette functions available? Different type of palette functions available, uh, and some real time scenarios. They might ask like how, like you just need to. After knowing these two, you just think that okay, if this is the requirement, then what I can do. That is what real time scenario. Like that is also
Mm-hmm.
simple, but they will wantedly make you, think the other way, or they'll just trick you to see like whether you really know or just theoretical knowledge, something like that. If you tell it confidently, "Oh, I will do this solution, this is the right solution," then they will be like, okay,
Okay.
yeah. Just tell that one solution can be done in multiple ways in integration, but we need to find, finalize the ideal one, which considers the performance wise and monitoring wise, error handling wise.
Mm.
So that should be the goal, not just developing. That way, if you just add such terms, then it will be good for you.
Okay.
Mhm. That's it. You have any doubts? I mean, if you got any chance to uh, create a
Bro,
trial
no,
account or something?
don't ask me, bro, please.
Mm. Okay, see, I
But
mean,
I will.
yeah, I mean,
But I will. Yeah.
then it will
Then
be
I
like,
will get a lot of questions. Then I will ask in the teams.
sure, sure. But it will be just activated for 30 days. Like when you want to
Mm.
you can't renew it, but when you develop, you need to download it and keep it so that when you need a new mail ID and mobile number for that. The one which is active SIM, okay, you will get OTP and all.
Sorry, what is that?
You need an active SIM that you will get OTP and all for that.
Oh, for the
New trial
downloads.
account. No, new trial account.
Mm-hmm.
Once that is
I have
expired.
lot of numbers. I will ask them one by one so that I'm okay with. But once I need to start,
Okay.
once I start, I will go on. That's the main drawback from my end. Mm. So
Yeah. Yeah, but
right
that's it.
now, I'm looking for the mm, country change, but not
No.
sure. Is it a good decision or bad one? I'm not sure. I'm fully confused right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, bro. We will wrap it up.
Yep. Yep. Sure. Thanks.
Thanks for your
Yeah.
time and things, bro.
No worries. No worries. It's nice to meet you also. I mean,
Uh,
I till now like you're the first Canadian from other country like US. Who is in US and then so
yeah. Okay.
bye. All the
So nice
best.
talking to you, bro. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.